Hello, Dharam, and hello, people out there on the screens watching us. This is one of the series I've set up with Dharam since December last year, 2019, and I think we have now 9 podcasts in YouTube you can watch. And we are covering some topics around project, program, and portfolio management. And today we want to talk a little bit about stakeholder engagement and what it means to engage with stakeholders and where are the differences on the project, program, portfolio level, where are differences maybe in the life cycle of each of these, how we deal with stakeholders and how we engage with them. So, Dharam, to put up that question, how can we do stakeholder engagement at the project, program, and portfolio level? What do you think?
Thanks, Thomas. Once again, it's a pleasure to work with you and coming and sharing all this discussion and topics. Very interesting. And I know people are benefiting from our discussion, and more people will get benefit. So thank you for partnering in this journey and asking me questions. So the question very interesting and very important to know that stakeholder is very important for any project, program, and portfolio. And by the way, stakeholder is anybody. It can be a person, it can be a group, it can be a department, it can be society, even a country, who can benefit negatively. It can be negative impact, positive impact, or they can also impact your project, program, and portfolio negatively or positively. And even though they perceive to be impacted by your project, program, portfolio as well, they may feel that your project is going to impact them negatively without realizing the true story behind it. So it is very important to identify as many stakeholders as possible, as early as possible in your life cycle of the project, program, and portfolio. And knowing that this particular stakeholder has that impact, so that will make you more prepared to deal some situation. So PMI has given us a good tool like a stakeholder register. That's where you identify the stakeholders and identify as much information as you can, their name, the department, and which phase of the project or program they can impact, and how they can impact positively, negatively, internal, external. And also important thing to know whether they are negative towards your program or neutral or positive. Some of the stakeholders are very excited to see the new project, new initiatives taken by the organization. They are excited, they are leader, they are helping you to get the results. But same time, some stakeholders are they feel there's negative impact, or they start bringing all kind of hindrances or roadblocks in between. So making a list of all the possible stakeholders is very important, and that should be the first step. And then you analyze them. So let's say if on a particular project you end up having let's say 200 or 300 stakeholders, you have limited time. You cannot interact with all the stakeholders at the same level. So we need to categorize them. We need to analyze them more and more and understand more where, and you need to see where you should be focusing more, because there are some stakeholders, they are decision makers, like your sponsor or your steering committee or and the product owner. So these are the people who make decisions about your project and program. So you need to interact with them, talk to them, email them, provide them status report, in different way you can interact. And there are other people, they can be very senior in the organization, but they don't see your project or program very useful for the organization. So they can create negative impact to your project. So it is good idea to understand their perspective and maybe show them the real benefit of this particular program or project, because sometimes they may not see the whole the big picture of this particular program. I will give a very small example. This is where I was working for a company called EDS, and EDS was going through a bidding process because after 10 years, this bank is now reassessing whether they should continue their services with EDS. So EDS started a program, workplace transformation program. So idea was to see what is working, what's not working, and what are the SLAs, KPIs, and how can we improve? How can you show them that we have improved or we're going to give them better service? So one of the project I was dealing at the time was setting up a device within the network system to understand the email transfer time. And there was the network engineer working on the project, but he was not giving me enough time. And I did ask him what's the reason why you're not working, why I'm not getting the output from you. He said, Dharam, I have three, I'm working on operations. So operations is very high priority for me. And I'm also working on two very high profile programs. For me, your program or your project is very low priority. So I will do the work as and when I can. And if you have any problem, talk to my manager. So I'm talking to the manager. He's in the same opinion. And then I have operation. I have to make sure the network is up and running and this and that. So I said, it's all good, operation required and these two programs required. But realize that if we don't have this, we don't win the business. You don't have to worry about the operation anyway. And when he got the picture, bigger picture, he was able to see that the importance of this particular project. Then he allocated that particular person to my project 50% more than that. So that's where sometimes if they don't see the bigger picture, they are too much focused in their in the silo. You have to show them bigger picture.
Right.
So yeah, so we need to understand, analyze, and also understand the engagement. So and we'll talk about stakeholder at project level, program level, portfolio level. And by the way, there are different level of engagement required, especially when from the PMI point of view, project, if it is part of the program, you have at the project level, you are focused on building a product or service. Okay. And yes, you have a team, you have a steering committee, you have a change control board, you have a program manager, maybe portfolio manager or some sponsor, but still your focus is not wider. But as we go into the program level, you're running a let's say $10 million, $50 million, $100 million program, which has wider impact. It may be impacting the public. It may be impacting the whole organization, the whole country. So we need to identify all such stakeholders. We also need to understand whether they are negatively impacted, positively impacted, they're benefiting from the program or not benefiting from the program. Accordingly, our engagement strategy has to be built around that. And when we talk at the portfolio level, portfolio is at the organization level. So they are running the projects and program under the portfolio to satisfy the organization need, to satisfy the organization's strategic objectives, vision, strategies. So their view, their stakeholders are like their governing body, the CIO, director at that level. They have a stakeholder in the form of PMO, portfolio management office. They have a stakeholder in the form of sponsors or the various departments in the organization, project management, project managers, program manager, operation managers. So their view is like this. They may have some external stakeholders, and most of them are internal stakeholders. So engagement is portfolio level is different, and program level, as I mentioned, it can be a very vast, and you need to think differently at the program level.
So that's what you're saying, nicely explaining on the different three levels, different ways and different focus of stakeholder engagement. But what I learned from you saying is, you have the widest spread and range of stakeholder types and maybe interests and maybe influences on the program level. The portfolio management level is more dealing with the internal politics and the governance of the system and how to prioritize tasks and assign resources, and project level is more, dealing with the specific project targets. But program level is quite open because we want to extend our benefits. We want to reach much more people, and we go out into operations and customers and the public and everything. Did I get you right there?
Exactly. So if we talk about, let's say, program level, by the way, program level and project level, more or less we can talk same level. You just program has extra more stakeholders or wider range. So we have 3 different stages when we initiate a particular program, and then execute, and then close the program. So interaction is different at all these 3 different levels. So especially when we initiating a particular program or a project, we need to understand with the expectations or concerns, what they really want to achieve from your program. So you talk to your sponsor, you talk to the steering committee or senior members, or maybe the impacted department, understand more about the benefit, what benefit they like to achieve from the program, and how the benefit going to impact them positively or negatively. So understand more. So initial level, your engagement is more to get more information from them and start building rapport with them. And as we get into the execution mode, we start providing them information. As and when things are happening on a project or program, they like to know what is happening, whether you're on track, to deliver the benefit, or there are some issues or risk or change request which they need to see from their point of view. So let's say talk about the steering committee, where you as a program manager, you go with your status report every week or every fortnight. You're going to talk about, this is how my program is, this is how I'm tracking towards the benefit, and I can see there are possible risks or issues and change requests. Can you please help me, which I cannot handle in my situation. I have these options. Can you please analyze and give it, tell me how I'm tracking? Or can you, they can also provide their perspective. They can provide you money or time, so that you can deal with your particular risk or issue or change request more effectively.
Yeah, that's true. Let me share, Dharam, a practical example which came up in one of my projects. I wasn't it was a program actually, so I was in charge of of all companies of a customer in EMEA in Europe, and so I listed all the executives in these companies, and it was an impressive list of almost 400 people, individuals with names and whatever. And so it was impossible for me even to call each of them once a year. So how to manage this kind of a massive amount of stakeholders, and maybe yes, some of them are less important for you, some of them you can focus. But what I did on top of that is, I asked my core team on the program to be assigned to a set of these almost 400 stakeholders, and I gave them the task, for the more prioritized stakeholders, to at least call them once a month and have a coffee with them once a month. And the effect of that was that they were more outward focused from the team point of view. They were more dealing with understanding, what do these guys want, who are they, what are their interests. But also, once they got into conversation on the phone or over a coffee, these stakeholders issued their opinions and maybe their complaints and maybe their ideas. And this gave us a lot of good input, and we put it into an issue management, and we could follow up with these issues. We could inform them. This created overall a big trust in our company, in our program team, to the full European set of companies. I'm not saying everybody liked us, but everybody at least said, okay, they are listening to us, and maybe this resulted in some some good ideas how we could succeed in the project in the program during my time.
Exactly. And a good point that informal discussion can be better to break, build a relationship with them.
Right, right.
Whether it is team building activities or maybe going out and playing golf or having
Yeah.
coffee, drinks, any of these activity can help you. If you can, they can help you to build rapport with your management, with your staff, and your peers. Whatever can help you to build a relationship, you should be using that technique. And the reason I'm telling you, because if you have positive relationship, a good relationship with your stakeholder, even if you have negative news or something not working out, people say, "Let's don't worry, let's work it out. We are collectively going to have
Yeah.
make it possible." Because you have different level of reputation, you have a relationship. But same time, if you don't have relationship, and even if you're doing good job, people say, "Okay, that's what your job is, and that's why we're paying you money, and what's the big deal in that?" So they don't appreciate your work because one is they don't see you, exceptional work. They don't see your exceptional work. Rather, they're trying to find negativity in that, and that's where a lot of problem happen when project manager, program manager come and tell me, "Dharam, my whatever you're saying is great, but my stakeholders are very difficult. I cannot work with them. They always demanding, they always criticizing, they always politics going on." So I tell them, look, there is a possibility that some people are born like this, but not everybody. If everybody is like this, that means some problem in your way of engaging with them. So
Right.
yeah, first thing first, make sure you understand them. Everybody has different expectations. For example, let's Thomas, you are the CEO of the company, and I'm giving you exactly the same report which I'm sending out to my sponsor or to my the steering committee. So you may say, Dharam, look, I am a C. I mean, in my position, I don't have time to go through everything. Can you send me a summary or something? So I may send the same second time, similar report without considering too much, and you will get upset. Dharam, look, I have been asking you, and you have been not listening, and that's where the relationship goes negative.
Yeah.
But if I take extra time to understand and take a record what he's the CEO expecting, why he need this kind of information, and what frequency, what media, he may say, give me phone call. I don't want to see a report. Just come and see me in my room. I just give me 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We need to spend enough time to understand who they are, what their style is, what they are
Right.
expecting from program, and how they want to run the program. There are different expectations.
Exactly. Another tool I found very helpful is, if you look at the year, working year, there are 200 working days, and every one of them has a lunchtime. So you have 200 opportunities every year to make stakeholder engagements during lunchtime, which is a very good opportunity because during lunch you are more relaxed and you like food gives you some good hormones that you are happy about that, and you can talk a lot about lunchtime and even extend it to have a drink afterwards. So having lunchtime is a very good engagement tool.
Perfect. Good, Thomas. And by the way, PMI in a PMBOK or a standard for program management, portfolio management, they do talk about very extensively about the stakeholder engagement and how to identify them, how to analyze them, how to engage and build an engagement plan and build and engage with them. So I encourage everybody to go through these standards. And if you are joining my PgMP bootcamp or PMP or PfMP, you will learn a lot about the stakeholder engagement and how to build rapport with them. So this is a section I love talking, and I take some practical example or some personal example to make sure you get the point and you learn and do your stakeholder engagement even better.
Very
So
important topic, and for all of the levels, but especially important for the program manager in his various environments he's working in.
yeah.
Thank you, Dharam.
Thank you. It was a really good question, and I think we had good discussion. And appreciate everybody watching. Please go through it, write your comment, feedback, and love to see. You can reach out to us. By the way, to Thomas and myself, ask your specific questions, specific case studies, and if you're dealing with particular very not pleasant or good stakeholder, how to deal with this kind of stakeholder. So I may not have the may not have the right answer, but by discussion we may able to guide you or give you some extra tool. So thank you, Thomas. It was a good discussion, and once again, pleasure working with you, and hope to do more such podcasts with you, and keep helping other people. Thank you.
Thank you, Dharam.
You take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.